Hello, my name is Mayanka. I am accounts and a finance trainer from UPLETS. Today we are covering the topic of marginal costing. This is part 2 of this topic. In part 1, we have already discussed the meaning of marginal cost. The meaning of marginal costing, the differences between differential, marginal and incremental costing, how we will calculate the marginal cost, and we have also discussed certain examples which are related to the calculation of marginal costing. In this video, this is the part 2 of marginal costing, in which we will cover all other important topics or important points of the marginal costing. So now we will start our video. Marginal costing. Now we will discuss the advantages and the disadvantages or the limitations of marginal costing. What are the advantages of marginal costing and what are the disadvantages and the limitations of the marginal costing? Advantages and the disadvantages of the marginal costing. First, we will discuss advantage. First, we will discuss the advantages of the marginal cost. Advantages. Number one is simplified pricing policy. The advantages of the marginal costings are: number one, simplified pricing policies. Number two, proper recovery of overheads. There are the advantages of the marginal costing is that number one is simplifying pricing policy, and number two, proper recovery of overheads. Number two is proper recovery of overheads. Number three, show realistic profit. Shows the realistic profits. Number four, how much to produce. How much to produce. More control over the expenditure and help in decision making and short-term profit plan. Now, there are the certain advantages of the marginal costing which are given as follows. Number one, it is very simplified pricing policy. Number two, in the case of marginal costing, there is the proper recovery of overheads. It is show realistic profit. It is show realistic profits. On the basis of this, on the basis of marginal costing, we can understand and we can calculate how much to produce so that we can manage or we can control the cost. More control over the expenditure. In the case of marginal costing, there is the more control, because when we calculate the incremental cost or the marginal cost, then we can understand what is the extra cost and how to be control it. Decision, help in decision making. It is very much helpful in the purpose of decision making. And the last is short term profit plan. We will discuss all these advantages in the detailed form. Number one, simplified pricing policy. These all are the advantages of the marginal costing. Number one is simplified pricing policy. The marginal cost remain constant per unit of output. The marginal cost remain constant. The marginal cost remain constant per unit of output, whereas the fixed cost remain constant in total. The marginal cost remain constant per unit, because the marginal cost are the all are the direct costs or all are the variable costs. Then these costs are constant per unit of output, whether the fixed costs are constant and it is fixed in total. It will not be changed according to the production, but the marginal cost will be changed according to the number of production or number of output. Since the marginal cost per unit is constant from period to period, marginal cost will be constant period to period basis. Within a short span of time, firm decision on pricing policy can be taken. Since the marginal cost per unit is constant from the period to period within a short span of time and within the firm decision on the pricing policy that can be taken. If the fixed cost is included, then the unit cost will be changed. If we will include the fixed cost, then the unit cost will be changed from the day-to-day operation and it is depending upon the volume of output. So we will take decision making task difficult. If we will include all the fixed costs at the time of calculation of unit cost, then the unit cost will be differed or it will be changed with the day to day depending upon the volume of output because the fixed costs are to be apportioned into volume of output. Is that if the fixed cost is 1 lakh rupees and the output is 5,000, then it will be divided into 5,000 only. But after some time it is the production is 10,000 units, then it will be divided in 10,000. Then it is very much difficult it is very much difficult to include the fixed cost because due to this there is a change in price of product, or when it is very much difficult, then on the basis of this it is a very much difficult to take the decision in the respect of such a cost. It is very much difficult to take the decision which is related to the cost or related to the pricing policies. So the marginal costing is a very simplified pricing policy because in the case of the marginal costing, all the variable costs, all the variable costs are to be considered and fixed costs are not considered. Proper recovery of overhead. In the case of marginal costing, the overhead are recovered in the costing on the basis of predetermined rates. In the case of marginal costings, all the overheads are determined on the basis of predetermined rate. Is that all the overheads are distributed and all the overhead are apportioned on the basis of predetermined rates. If fixed overhead are included, if there are the fixed overhead which are included on the basis of predetermined rate, then there will be the under recovery of overhead. If all the fixed overheads are included on the basis of predetermined rate, then there will be a under recovery of overheads if the production is less, or if the overheads are more, then there will be the over recovery of the overhead if the production is more than the budget or it is more than the actual, or the actual expenses are less than the estimate. Then this is create the problem of the treatment of such under recovery or such over recovery. Then the marginal costing is a costing which is avoid under recovery and the over recovery of overhead. In the case of marginal costing, there is the proper utilization or there is the proper recovery of the overheads. There is no under recovery of overhead, there is no over recovery of overheads. So, so the marginal costing is a so is a marginal costing is a proper recovery of overhead. This is the one of the advantage of marginal costing. So realistic profit. The marginal costing show the all the realistic profits. Advocate of the marginal costing argue that under the marginal costing technique, the stock of finished goods and the stock of WIP are carried on marginal cost basis, and fixed costs are written off to the profit and loss account as a period cost. In the case of the marginal costing, the WIP and the finished goods are to be valued at the marginal cost basis. Is that it is valued at cost and the fixed costs are not to be considered when we calculate the value of finished goods or WIP. And all the fixed costs are charged to the profit and loss account and it is written off in the profit and loss account as period cost. So on the basis of this, it is it is show the true profit for the period. On the basis of this, the entity, on the basis of marginal costing, the entity will present or the entity will show the actual amount of profit for the period. On the basis of this, we can calculate or we can show the actual amount of profit for the particular period. So the marginal costing show the realistic profit. Marginal costing show the realistic profit. Now, the next advantage of the marginal costing to take the decision in the respect of how much to produce. On the basis of marginal costing, we can take the decision in the respect of how much production to be made. Marginal costing is the very much helpful in the preparation of break-even analysis. Is that on the basis of marginal costing, we can prepare the break-even analysis which show the effect of increasing or decreasing the product activity on the profitability of the company. The marginal costing is very much helpful for the preparation of break-even analysis, and on the basis of such break-even analysis, we can show the effect of increasing and we can show the effect of decreasing production activity, and on the basis of this, we can also consider the effect of profitability of the company. We can show the effect of increasing, decreasing of production in the profitability of the company. So it is the one of the important advantage of the marginal costing. On marginal costing, on the basis of this, we can determine how much unit to be produced. The next is more control over the expenditure. In the case of marginal costing, there is the another advantage is more control over the expenditure. Segregation of the expenditures are fixed or variable. Normally there are the segregation of overheads or segregation of expenses. It may be a fixed expenses or it may be the variable expenditure. And such segregation is very much useful to the management to exercise the control over the expenditure. On the basis of such a segregation, the management can control those expenditures. The management can compare the actual variable expenditures with the budgeted variable expenditure and take the corrective action through the analysis of variances. Is that when all the expenditures are properly properly classified by the such marginal costing, then the entity can compare the actual variable overheads with the budgeted variable overheads. If there are certain variances or if there are certain differences, then the company can take the proper action to maintain the such expenditure or to maintain or to remove the such variances. So on the basis of marginal costing, the management can control over the expenditures. So is that on the basis of this, they can manage all the expenditures very properly. So this is the advantage of marginal costing. The next advantage is help in decision making. The marginal costing is also very important and very useful in the case of decision making. Marginal costing is very much helpful for a decision making. It helps the management in taking a number of business decisions. The marginal costing is very much helpful for the management in taking the business decision like make or buy. We will make the product or we will buy the product, discontinue of a particular product, replacement of machinery, etc. Is that on the basis of or by the help of marginal costing, the management can take the decisions which are related to the make and buy, discontinue of production or replacement of machinery and many other decisions. So it is very much helpful for the management in the case of decision making. And short-term profit planning. It is also very much important. It is also very much helpful in the short-term profit planning by break-even point chart. break-even point charts. Is that on the basis of this, in the basis of this, it is very much helpful in the short-term profit planning, and it is to be done by on the basis of break-even point charts. So these all are the advantages. These all are the advantages of the marginal costing. So on the basis of this, we can understand the marginal costing has the many advantages for the organization. On the basis of such advantages, the entity can control the cost, the entity can remove all the variances, the entity can take the decisions with the help of this, the entity can take the entity can manage the short-term profit planning. There is the proper utilization of all the overheads and valuations, properly valuation. So there are the many advantages of the marginal costing. Now we will discuss limitations and the disadvantages of marginal costing. What are the limitations and what are the disadvantages of the marginal costing? Limitation. Number one is difficulty in classifying fixed and variable overhead, variable elements. In the case of marginal costing, it is a very much difficulty to classify fixed and variable elements, because in the case of marginal costing, the expenses are to be classified into two parts, fixed and variable. So it is a very much difficult to classify it into fixed or to classify it into variable. Number two is dependence on key factor. In the case of marginal costing, there is a proper dependence on key factors. Number three is scope for low profitability. Scope of low profitability. Number four, faulty valuation. This is the limitation of marginal costing, faulty valuation. Next is unpredictable nature of cost. Unpredictable nature of cost is the limitation of marginal costing. Marginal costing ignores time factors and the investment. Marginal costing ignores the time factors and the investments and understanding of WI. These all are the limitations of the marginal costing. Number one, difficulty in the classification of fixed and the variable elements, dependence on the key factors, scope for low profitability, faulty valuation, unpredictable nature of cost, marginal cost ignores time factors and the investments, and understanding of WI. These all are the limitations of marginal costing. Now we will discuss all these limitations in detailed form. Number one is difficulty in classifying fixed and variable overhead. In the case of marginal costing, it is the very much difficult to classify the expenses into fixed expenses and variable. It is very much difficult to classify exactly the expenses into the fixed and variable category. Very much difficult to classify exactly the amount of expenses into fixed and variable. Most of the expenses are neither totally variable nor fixed. Most of the expenses are neither totally variable nor totally fixed. For example, various amenities which are provided to the worker may have no relation either to the volume of product and time factors. So how we will classify it? It is as a fixed or it is as a variable. So in the case of classification of the fixed and a variable element, there is the very much difficulty. Next is dependence on key factors. In the case of marginal costing, the contribution of the product itself is not a guide for the optimum profitability unless it is linked with the key factors. Is that in the case of marginal costing, the contribution of the product is not the key factor. It is not considered as a key factor. So in the case of marginal costing, there is the fully dependence of the key factor for the optimum profitability. Is that when there is any entity want to know about the guidance in the respect of optimum profitability, then Such entity will be depend upon the key factors. Next is scope for low profitability. Scope for low profitability. Sale staff may mistake marginal costing for the total cost and sale at the price. The sales staff makes the sales staff may make some mistakes which is in the marginal costing for the total cost and sale at the price, which will result in a loss or low profit. Hence, sale department or sales staff should be cautious while giving marginal cost, because the marginal cost is the amount which is considered only the variable cost or the directing cost. It does not include the fixed cost. So due to this, there is the level of profitability will become very low, will be very low. So this is the one of the disadvantages or one of the limitations of the marginal cost. The next is faulty valuation. In the case of marginal costing, there is the faulty valuation. Overhead of the fixed nature cannot be altogether be executed, particularly in the large quantities, while valuating the WI. Faulty valuation. In the case of marginal costing, the overheads which are fixed in the nature cannot be altogether be excluded from the particular contract while valuating the WIP. In this case, in order to show the correct position, the fixed overhead to be included in the WIP. Normally, when in the case of marginal costing, the valuation of the fixed, the valuation of the finished goods and the WIP is to be made only on the basis of variable cost. The fixed costs are not to be included. So this is not the correct valuation. For show the correct position, the fixed overheads has to be included in the WIP progress so that the correct valuation can be understood and can be determined of the finished goods and of the WIP. So this is the disadvantage or limitation of the marginal costing. The next is unpredictable nature of cost. Unpredictable nature of cost. Some of the assumptions regarding the behavior of various costs are not necessarily true in the realistic situation. There are some of the assumptions which are regarding the behavior of various costs are not necessarily true in the realistic situation. For the example, the assumption that the fixed cost will remain same, static throughout is not correct. There is an assumption that the fixed cost will remain same, but it is not a correct because it will be increased or it will be decreased due in a case of certain level of production. The fixed cost may be changed from one period to another. It may be changed from the one period to another. For example, the salary will maybe go up because of annual increment and due to the changes in the period. So there are some assumptions which are not relevant or which are unpredictable nature, unpredict or which are not relevant. So there, due to this, there are the costs which are to be determined on the basis of unpredictable, and the variable costs do not remain constant per unit of output. It may also be changed when there is the change in the price of raw material, change in the wages rate, and after the certain level of output has been reached due to the shortage of material, shortage of skilled labor, and concession on the bulk purchase etc. So there is the unpredictable nature of cost. It is the one of the limitation or one of the disadvantage of the marginal cost. Next is marginal cost ignore the time factor and the investment. Marginal cost ignores the time factors and the investment. The marginal cost of two jobs may be same. In the case of marginal costing, the two jobs may be the same, but the time taken for the completion of these jobs and the cost of machineries which are used for such job may be different. In the case of marginal costing, there are two jobs which may be same, but the time which is taken by these jobs and the cost of the machinery which is used by these jobs may be different. The true cost of the job will takes longer time. The true cost of the job will takes longer time and use costaler machine would be higher. Then, but this fact are not to be considered by the marginal costing, and the fact is not displayed by the marginal costing. So, the marginal costing ignore the time factors and the investment, which have a important part in the case of calculate the cost of a unit. So, this is the limitation or this is the disadvantage of the marginal cost. The next is understanding of WIP. Under marginal costing, stock and WIP are understated because these all are valued at the variable cost only. The fixed costs are not to be considered in the case of valuation of WIP and in the case of valuation of WIP and in the case of valuation of finished goods. So these all are the limitations and the disadvantages of the marginal costing. We have discussed advantages and the disadvantages of the marginal costing. Now we will discuss cost volume profit analysis. In the marginal costing, we will discuss the cost volume profit analysis. What is the cost volume profit analysis and what are the requirements of this analysis? Now we will discuss it. Meaning, what is the cost volume profit analysis? It is the managerial tool which is showing the relationship between the various ingredients of the profit plan. The cost volume profit analysis is a marginal tool which show the relationship between the various ingredients of the profit. Is that it is show the relationship between the marginal, sorry, the cost volume profit analysis show the relationship between the cost and between the selling price, volume of activities, etc. The cost volume profit analysis is the analysis of three variable costs. It is the analysis of variable cost, volume, and the profit. The CVP is the analysis of variable cost, volumes, and the profit. On the basis of this, we can understand the relationship between the variable cost, volumes, and the profit. This is the CVP, cost, volume, profit analysis. Assumption. Now, there are the certain assumptions which are related to the CVP. There are the certain assumptions which are related to the CVP analysis. CVP analysis assumptions. Number one is changes in the level of revenue and the cost arise only when there is a change in number of product or number of service which are produced and sold. In the case of CVP analysis, there are certain assumptions which are to be considered for the use of such an analysis. Number one, the change in the level of revenue and the change in the level of the cost will be arise. Is that the change in the cost and the change in the revenue will be arise only when there is a change in the number of product or when there is a change in the number of services which are produced and which are sold. If there is any change in number of product or number of service, then there will be the change in revenue and there will be the change in cost. Number two assumption is total cost can be separated into two components. In the case of marginal costing, the costs are separated into two components, fixed component and the variable component. Fixed component are those components that does not vary with the output. The fixed components are those components which are not vary with the output, is that which are fixed in the nature. And the variable overheads, which variable component is those component which is a vary with the output level. This is the next assumptions. And the next assumption is when represented graphically, when we will present it graphically, then the behavior of total revenue. When it is present graphically, then the behavior of total revenue and the total cost are linear in the relation to the output label with a relevant range. This is the assumption. The next assumption is selling price, variable cost per unit, and the total fixed cost are known and it is constant. In the case of CVP analysis, the selling price, variable cost, and the total fixed cost remain constant, and these are known and these are constant. Next is the analysis either cover a single product. The analysis, the CVB analysis, it is cover either a single product and assume that proportion of different production when multiplying products are sold will remain constant as the level of total unit which is sold change. The analysis will cover either a single product or assume that the proportion of the different products when multiply products are sold will remain constant as the level of total units sold changes. And the other assumption is all revenue on and the cost can be added, subtracted, and compared without taking into account the time value of money. In the case of CVP analysis, the revenue and the cost can be added, can be subtracted, can be compared without taking into account the time value of money. All these are the assumption of the CVV analysis. When any enterprises want to use the CVV analysis, then the entity will consider or take all these assumptions. These all are assumptions. Importance. Now we will discuss the importance of the CVV analysis. What are the importance of the CVV analysis? The CVV analysis is an analysis which is provide the information about the following matters. Is that on the basis of CVV analysis, we can obtain the information about the various methods. Number one, the behavior of cost in the relation to volume. Number one, the behavior of cost in the relation to the volume. Number two, the volume of production or the volume of sale. We can obtain the information in the respect of volume of production and volume of sale, where the business will break even. And on the basis of CVB analysis, we can obtain the information about the sensitivity of the profits due to variation in output. We can understand the sensitivity of the profit which is arise due to the variation in output. On the basis of CVB analysis, we can obtain the information about the amount of profit for a projected sale volume. We can obtain the information about the amount of profit for a projected sale volume. And on the basis of CVB analysis, we can obtain the information about the quantity of production and the sale for a target profit level. These all are the importance of the CVB analysis. Provide all these information. The CVB analysis provide all this information. Number one, the behavior of the cost in the relation to the volume of product and the volume of sale where the business will break even, sensitivity of the profit which is arise due to the variation in output, amount of profit for the projected sale volume, and the quantity of the production and the quantity of the sale for the achieve the targeted profit. So these information are to be provided by the CVV analysis. Now we will discuss the impact of various changes on profit. What will be the impact of various changes on the profit? The understanding of the CVV analysis is extremely useful to the management for the budgeting and for profit plan. is that is that the knowledge of the CVV analysis is very much important for the management, because on the basis of such understanding, the management can take the decisions which are related to the budgeting and which are related to the profit plan. It educates the impact of following on the net profit. It has the following impact it has the impact on the following on net profit, is that change in selling price has the effect and has the impact on the net profit. Change in volume of sale, when there is any changes in the sale volume, then it will it will has the impact of net profit. Change in variable cost will also increase or decrease the amount of profit, and change in fixed cost will also affect the net profit. Is that change in selling price, change in volume of sale, change in variable cost, and a change in fixed cost will change the or it is affect the net profit. So these all are the points which can affect the or which can impact the net profit of the organization. So the understanding of the CVB analysis is the very much important for the management for the purpose of budgeting and for the purpose of profit plan. Marginal cost equation. What is the marginal cost equation? And what is the use of such marginal cost equation? The contribution theory explains the relationship between the variable cost and the selling price. The contribution theory explains the relationship between the variable cost and the selling price, because the contribution is to be calculated on the basis of selling price less the amount of variable cost. So it is express the relationship between the variable cost and the selling price. It tells that selling price minus variable cost of the units sold is the contribution towards the fixed expenses and the amount of profit. If the amount of contribution is equal to the fixed cost, if the amount of the contribution is equal to the fixed cost, then there will not be any amount of profit or loss. But if the amount of contribution is loss, if the amount of contribution is less than the fixed expenses, then it will incur the loss. Let's say for the example, there is the total amount of contribution is 1 lakh rupees, and the amount of fixed cost is also 1 lakh. Then in this case, there will not be any profit or there will not be any loss. But if the amount of contribution is 1 lakh rupees and the amount of fixed expenses is 1 lakh 20,000, then the 20,000 is to be considered as a loss because the contribution is less than the fixed expenses. Since the variable overheads or the variable costs vary in the direct proportion of output. The variable costs are has the direct relationship with the output, and it will be changed when there is a change in output. Therefore, if the firm do not produce any unit, if there is any firm which is not producing any unit, then there will not be any variable cost. But such organization will bear the loss of fixed expenses, because the fixed expenses are the fixed in nature, and it will not be increase and decrease when there is the higher production, when there is a low production, and where there is no production. These all expenditures are the fixed in nature. There is no effect on the fixed overhead in the respect of production and non-production. These points can be described with the help of following marginal cost equation. Is that all these points which are discussed by us can be can be explained or can be described on the basis of a formula. The formula is C minus V. C is equal to, sorry, S minus V is equal to C is equal to F plus minus P. Is that S is equal to selling price, minus V. V is equal to variable cost. Then we obtain contribution. And contribution is equal to, the amount of contribution is equal to fixed cost plus minus profit. Is that the sales minus the variable cost is equal to contribution, and the contribution is equal to fixed cost plus minus profit. Is that the contribution can be calculated by number one, selling selling price minus the variable cost, or it may be calculated by fixed cost plus minus profit. So this is the marginal cost equation. On the basis of marginal cost equation, we can express all the selling price, variable cost, fixed cost, and the profit, or the amount of loss also. So this is the marginal cost equation. Marginal cost statement. We will we will calculate the marginal cost on the format of this statement. This is the marginal cost statement, which is contains sale less the variable cost, sale price less the variable cost, and after it we will obtain contribution. Right? We will reduce the amount of fixed cost from the amount of contribution. Then we will found the amount of profit. So this is the marginal cost statement. Contribution to sale ratio. What is the meaning of contribution of sale ratio, and what is the formula? What is the formula of contribution to sale ratio? This ratio show the proportion of sale which is available to cover the fixed cost and the profit. Proportion. Contribution to sale ratio is a ratio which is provide or which is show the proportion of sale which can cover the fixed cost and the profit. Contribution represent the sale revenue after deducting the variable cost, and this ratio is to be expressed as follows. CV ratio is equal to CV ratio is equal to contribution divided by sale into 100. CV ratio is equal to contribution divided by sale into 100, or CV ratio, or we can also calculate the CV ratio by the another formula, which is CV ratio is equal to change in contribution divided by profit and divided by change in sale into 100. There are these two formulas on the basis of which we can calculate the CV ratio, is that profit volume ratio. First formula is contribution divided by sale into 100, and the next is change in contribution divided by profit divided by change in sales into 100. This is the CV ratio formula. A higher contribution of sales ratio implied that the rate of growth of the contribution is faster than the sale. If there is the higher contribution to the sale ratio, then it is implied that there is a growth in the contribution. This is because once the break-even point is reached, the profit shall be grow to the fast rate where compared to the production with the less contribution of sale ratio. Now we will discuss the break-even analysis. What is the break-even analysis? The break-even analysis is generally used method to study the CVP analysis. The break-even analysis is a method which is normally used for the study the CVP analysis. This technique can be explained into two ways. The CVP, the break-even analysis, can be expressed and can be defined in the two ways. Number one is in narrow sense. In the narrow sense, it is the concerned with the computing the break-even point. If we take it in a narrow sense, then it is the analysis. Then it is the analysis which is used for computing the break-even point. The break-even point is a point where no profit and no loss. At this point, at this point of production level, the sale there will be no profit and no loss. is that total cost is equal to sale revenue. And number two way, second way is in the broad sense. First is the narrow sense, and now we will discuss it in the broad sense. In the broad sense, this technique is very much useful in determination of possible profit and loss at any given level of production or sale. The break-even analysis is a technique which is used to determine the possible amount of profit or possible amount of loss at any given level of production or any given level of sale. So, the break-even analysis is to be used in the case of determination of possible amount of profit or possible amount of loss at any given level of output. No, in the normal sense, the break-even analysis is the use only for the computation of break-even point, but in the broad sense, it is the techniques which is used to determine the possible profit and loss at any time, at any level of production or at any level of sale. This is part 2 of marginal costing, in which we have covered the all other main points, these points of the marginal costing. We have discussed CVP analysis and all other points, definitions, and all other relevant terms, which all are very much important to understand the concept of marginal costing. We have discussed advantages and disadvantages, limitations of marginal costing, which all are important to understand the concept of marginal costing. This is part 2, and there are another 3 parts, part 1, part 3, and part 4. Kindly consider these part also for the full understanding of this concept. Thank you so much.